Hi guys, welcome back. So today I'm doing something a little different as I am participating in an Easter collab with my friend Ellen from Ellen's Homemade Delights. We are going to be doing Easter desserts. I'm going to be showing you how to make an Easter mini egg tart. And don't forget to go and check out Ellen's video. I will leave all of her links in the description down below. So to start on the pastry cream filling, you'll want to get yourself a small or medium saucepan. Place in your milk and your vanilla and give it all a good whisk and then place on the heat. So into another bowl, you'll want to place your egg yolks and your sugar and then whisk the two together just until they are well combined. You'll know when this is ready as there will be no trace of a single ingredient and it will become lighter in colour. Next you can add in your sieved plain flour and just whisk it in again until it's fully incorporated with no traces of it being there at all. Once your milk has come to a boil, you can then add a bit of the milk mixture into the egg mixture. This is just to temper it. Whisk that in fully, then you can start gradually adding the rest of your milk mixture to your egg mixture until it's all been fully combined. You can then pour that back into the saucepan. So once this is back on the heat, you will then want to whisk this continuously until the mixture is done. This doesn't take very long, a couple of minutes at most. Once it's thickened and starts to hold its shape, you can then take it off the heat, put it onto a baking tray and spread it out as thin as possible and then cover it with cling film. This just helps to cool it down quicker and the cling film is to stop a skin forming on top. To let the mixture cool down at the best, you don't want to put it in the fridge as this is not a good idea because of it being hot and your fridge being cold. Just leave it on the kitchen side to cool down completely. So to start on the pastry, you'll want to place your flour and your butter in your food processor and pulse it together until they are well combined. Once they are well combined, you can then add in the sugar and egg mixture. Just add it all in on top and then again pulse the mixture until the egg and sugar have been fully worked in. This only takes a couple of seconds, so be careful not to overwork the pastry in the food processor. Empty the pastry out of the food processor onto a floured surface and just start to knead it together until you've got a smooth dough. So once your dough is made, you can then cut the dough in half, put half in the fridge wrapped up in cling film and keep the other half out. Roll it out on a well floured surface with a well floured rolling pin. You will want to keep rolling the dough just until it's slightly bigger than your tin or tray, whichever you're using. So I find this way the easiest to get the pastry onto the tin or tray is to roll it over the rolling pin, then place it back over. You can then trim away any of the excess, and if you do get any rips or tears, use some of that extra pastry just to fill in the gaps. It's completely fine. So I then chill the pastry case in the fridge for around 45 minutes to an hour and then start to give it a good coating of egg wash. Then just dock the bottom of the pastry so it doesn't rise while baking. So if you are interested in making this recipe, there will be a link to the blog down below and all the information will be there. So here is what the pastry case will look like once it's fully baked and cooled. So there's just one more stage to do with the pastry cream just before we fill the tart, and this is completely normal. You'll want to take the pastry cream and scrape it off of the tray. I'm using my scraper, but feel free to use whatever you've got. You'll then want to place it into a medium sized bowl and then whisk it all together just to help it become a bit more pliable and spreadable. So next you can start to fill your pastry case with the pastry cream and then you can start to level it out as best as you can. This recipe is actually the perfect amount of pastry cream for this size tart, which is 6-inch. So I will leave all that in the blog post and there'll be a link to that down below. So to make the chocolate ganache to go on top of the tart, I've just got some milk chocolate. I'm using dairy milk, but feel free to use what you can get. And then you'll want to pour over some almost boiling cream and allow it to sit for around a minute. Then you can start stirring it, and this just helps to emulsify it. And the more you mix it, the more you'll notice it starts to become chocolatey looking. You can then take this mixture and pour it straight over the top of your pastry cream and spread it out with the offset spatula just to get it as level as possible. So next you'll want to start placing your mini eggs on top. I started by adding the white, then the pink, followed by the purple, then the yellow, and repeated that until I'd done one complete circle. And I managed to do 2 full circles before I realised that I wouldn't have enough of the eggs to continue doing that pattern. So then I just used the remaining eggs to fill in, and it did look alright at the end. So I'm not sure if mini eggs are available around the world, but I know they are readily available in the UK, so feel free, if you can't get mini eggs, to use an alternative. It won't be a mini egg tart, but you've got the idea from this. But the mini eggs work really well with the ganache, the custard and the pastry. It just all works really well, and it's perfectly seasonal. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more from me, and I'll be back again next week with another video, so join me then. In the meanwhile, don't forget to check out the links in the description. I will leave all of my links and all of Ellen's links, so go and check out and see what she's made for her Easter collab with me this year. So that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.